Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to Live from the Apocalypse. This is this channel where we play tabletop games for charity and mutual aid funds. Welcome to episode 7 of Nephilim. Nephilim is our sci-fi, our ongoing sci-fi campaign. It's a little bit Firefly, a little bit Battlestar Galactica, a little bit cyberpunk at times. This stream benefits children's hospitals through Extra Life. The way we do things on our channel is if you like what you see here, instead of giving us money directly by donating bits or by subbing to the channel, we ask that instead you just put that money towards donating to the causes. So the bot will be posting the donate link periodically, but if you do !donate at any point during the stream, you can use that link to donate. And if you, a couple of our players also have their own Extra Life campaigns. So if you do Rouge donate, you can look at Rouge's incentives, most of which involve drinking things that are unpleasant. Or Della donate, Della will knit you things, as you can see currently in process. The good things, I would recommend them. So yeah, that about catches us up. We're gonna dive right back into our game. So last time we played Nephilim, you all had finished up your big contract on in Mars, in Independence Mars. You managed to salvage some stuff, a lot of different equipment from a Earth Coalition, a Tranquility spaceship. You got a big payout for it. Enough to get your ship flying again, but you did decide to do one last job before you left before you left Independence, rather. And the job in question is a heist. There is a spaceship currently docked in Independence from one of the major medical megacorps from the Earth Coalition called Crucible Medical, and word on the street is that there is an experimental auto dock unit on there that would revolutionize the face of modern medicine. A local physician by the name of Dr. Etienne Bouchard contracted you all to steal it so that he can better serve the community of Independence Mars, where healthcare is not plentiful or even accessible. So that was about where we left off. The only other thing of note that happened was that our very own Karis received a communication from his higher-ups back on Takamagahara, basically saying that they also wanted the information about Project Caduceus, whatever that is.
They didn't want any of the mechanical bits that the dock wants, right? They just want...
Unclear. They said they wanted all data pertaining to Project Caduceus. Now, you don't even know if Project Caduceus is the name of the autodock unit or if it's something else entirely. But that was your missive.
And I believe I went ahead and caused a ruckus.
You did cause a ruckus. So what you have implemented of your plan so far, you know that there is someone who can spoof your identification. And get you basically the registration of anyone that would assist you in gaining access to the docks or the ship or whatever. You also made sure the ship wasn't going anywhere by compromising the entire registration system for the docks. So they basically locked everything down, said no one on the planet or off the planet until we figure out what is going on. And that's about the extent of what y'all have done so far.
I think Ellis and I were going to go get IDs.
Yeah, that was the plan. And I think, maybe jumpsuits or something? Weren't we going to try and, get dock worker
Yeah, we're
gear?
trying to get in as dock workers.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was sneaking over to try to find some to steal.
So you were going to hack in and get info.
And what's Maeve up to? Oh, actually, I think that the big issue you guys had, sorry, Jen, I just remembered, I didn't recap this. The big issue was that you don't have transportation. because the auto dock is about the size of a room, or at least a closet.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So your payment is dependent on you get paid a certain amount if you bring the whole unit to Bouchard. You get paid less, but you still get paid if you just bring the data.
So Maeve was figuring out how to basically turn our jalopy into a flatbed.
Mm-hmm. Well, your jalopy is a flatbed, but
I don't know that I can.
No, like an
increase it.
18-wheeler, not like a pickup truck.
I think the plan was to either modify it if possible, or just see what your old friend Nathaniel Haywood has lying around.
Yeah.
So I'm back, probably going back to the shop and just gonna really run that one connection I've made in Independence into the ground until he's just like upset at the sight of me.
We did establish during your downtime scene that he's got a soft spot for you now.
That's true. I remind him of his dear old daughter.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. So yeah, two of you are on the IDs. Karis is gonna try to steal some uniforms, it sounds like. And Maeve is gonna try to sweet talk her way into a getaway vehicle. Cool. So let's pick up with Karis, because we ended with you receiving that transmission from Takamagahara, essentially. So how are you reacting to this? You haven't actually spoken to the Kanushi, the basically the man who's in charge of your order, pretty much since you left Takamagahara. You don't know that he's the one who's been sending you your orders, but you do know that they are coming from him. They might just be going through, somebody else might be getting the instruction to actually send them to you.
I'm excited, honestly.
The
plan was to download all the data and send it over anyway, so at this point I'm just extra motivated to get it done.
I mean, it could be a good opportunity to get back into their good graces.
Yep.
For sure.
Especially with all of the info on Jaxper.
Mm-hmm.
Nano
No such thing as nano bros out here in space.
All nanos for themselves.
Yeah. Cool. So that makes a lot of sense. You just have that missive, essentially. You've just been told to bring us all this information. Are you going to ask for clarification? Are you going to try to contact them? Or are you just going to go and see what you can do without asking for any help? Prove yourself.
Yeah, I'm headstrong, and I'm just going to try to prove myself.
Okay, cool. All right. So the other thing you wanted to do was actually try to steal some uniforms.
Yes. So I figure I'm hiding somewhere around the port.
Yeah. So yeah, we did leave off with you in your apartment, because that was where your data pad was, if I am not mistaken. And when you received that communication, that's pretty much where we ended it. But you could absolutely start making your way down to the docks in a way where you are not drawing attention to yourself. You can attempt to be very sneaky.
Yep, I'm going to sneak in.
Cool.
I have my tactical cloak.
Right, that is true. Yeah, so the tactical cloak is definitely going to make it a lot easier. So that only runs for a very limited amount of time. So let me set the scene for you a little bit. As you make your way through the streets of Independence down to where the dockyard is, if you recall, the dockyard is basically a section of the city. The city was once a military base. So you have that sort of walled main section of it. And then beyond that, it is just sort of sprawling out. There's really nothing. There was no city planning that went into it. Everything is kind of chaotically laid out. Any streets or lanes or anything like that have been formed was largely by happenstance. And the docks occupy a pretty significant portion of the outskirts of the left half of the city. The docks are pits of different sizes that are set into the ground where the ships can land, and then the docking facility, extends out in sort of tunnels from there. So the majority of the dockyard is underground. All of the administrative stuff, all of the back personnel locations are underground, but the pits themselves are open to the air. In the event that a ship that is too large to dock in one of these tries to come to Independence, they would have to use a dropship. They would have to leave their larger vessel in orbit, which shouldn't be a problem because there would be a crew involved with it, and then a smaller ship will come down. So there are a lot of these pits dotting the outskirts of Independence, and it's hard as you are approaching. You can't really tell what ships are there because they are recessed. They are sunken into the ground. Occasionally you can see bits and pieces rising above the top of the pit, but as you approach the dockyard, it's a lot of fenced-in gates that then lead down into that tunnel structure that then allows people to access their ships. So, yeah, there are all sorts of people milling around. This is where you've probably seen more people that are clearly not locals than you have in your time here on Independence, because you all are very much staying in like a residential area, which is to say a place where the people of Independence also live. The dockyards are full of people who are coming and going, who are stopping off, who are getting ready to leave, but it is not nearly as full. There's not that sense of community that you've noticed in the neighborhood where your apartment is. So yeah, just a lot of strangers of varying, walks of life, as you can tell. Makes it very easy for you to blend in as well. And in the missive that you were given from Takamagahara, they asked you to retrieve information on Project Caduceus from the vessel docked in Dock 7. So you sort of start like picking your way through these streets, milling around with the crowds, and you can see at the top of each of these locked gates a piece of metal with a number sort of crudely painted onto it. And it's not terribly hard for you to locate Dock 7.
Okay. Can I still discharge my microdrones to have them kind of map out the entire facility for me?
Yeah.
Specifically, I'd like to know the location of, like, I guess, like the main base of commands, like
Okay.
the main office and
Okay.
a locker room.
Absolutely, yeah. So activate your micro drones. You're gonna roll plus calculating.
Okay. Which is +1.
Okay. Not great, but enough. You have 2 holds to use. You can. I assume you're going to pick allow you to remotely spy on a nearby location you can't physically reach. You can also select quickly mapping out nearby hidden routes or remotely hacking into an isolated computer system that you can't physically reach.
I want the map, and actually, I don't know that I have like an active use for remotely spying on a specific location, but it could be a little bit more helpful if, I don't know, can I hack into like security cams?
Yeah, definitely, yes, yeah. So you want access to the feed of the security cameras in the facility. Okay, yeah, that's definitely something that they have set up, although the quality is not impressive at all. They are, exactly enough to get the job done, but the footage is grainy. There's no sound. By the standards of other secure facilities you've infiltrated, this is like kind of embarrassing. And you can see within the tunnel system, more people coming and going. It's even busier down there than it is up here. So there are plenty of people. But you can also switch between the feeds of the cameras, and I assume you're using that virtual interface that you had implanted in yourself. So, you're kind of just like hanging out across the street from Dock 7, and you are flipping through all these different camera views across your virtual interface. So you can see people moving around, and you can absolutely see some of them are wearing like these very dark rust red coveralls. They don't really have any like demarcation, no like flag or logo. That's not something that Independence has. But the people you notice who are walking around in those red jumpsuits do appear to be doing things with a purpose. They do appear to be like, performing maintenance on certain things, answering people's questions, carrying heavy objects, things like that. You would guess that perhaps that is something that delineates workers at the very least.
I guess I want to follow a group of workers around and hopefully have them get me into the locker room or
so is this
I guess I have the map, so
you do have the map, and you can call that up over, sort of superimpose it over the views of the cameras that you're looking at, and you're even able to sort of one-to-one the views that you're looking for and identify which angles on the maps they correspond to. So according to the map, you can see that there is a control room that handles all of the communications out to the ships that are coming in, and here on the ground as well. And you can see that it corresponds to an enormous satellite dish that sits above ground, sort of at the other end of the dockyard. So the giant satellite dish that is used to communicate with ships as they are approaching Mars is basically right over the control room that handles all of the coming and going from Independence. Separate from that, there are a few different staff areas that are essentially locker rooms.
Okay. First order of business is for me to use the security system to make sure that I have like a good gap of nobody being around so that I can get to the locker room and hopefully sneak back out with jumpsuits for the rest of the group.
Okay. That sounds good. I think what I'm going to ask you to do, that the tactical cloak gives you advantage to act quick, right?
Yes.
Okay. So then, yeah, I think what I want, use the cloak, and you can use your knowledge of the security systems to roll to act quickly. Roll plus slick with advantage. So roll 3d6 and use the 2 highest plus your slick.
9.
All right, that's good enough. You do it, but you have to choose one. You are off balanced and rushed and have disadvantage going forward. You've left something behind, I will tell you what, or you're pushed to your limits with the effort and you suffer 1 stress.
I will take a stress.
Always taking that stress. Always taking that stress.
Yeah.
All right. So what happens is you go down below into one of these tunnel entrances. There are like these fairly rickety, rusty metal staircases that wind down into the dockyard tunnels at various points across from each of the external fenced gates. So you can find the one that corresponds to each dockyard, or rather each dock. And I'm going to say that because you rolled well and because you're using your security systems and you've done this kind of thing before, you are not going down the Dock 7 entrance. You are picking like Dock 2 and going down that one. And you know that there is not currently a ship docked in Dock 2, so you don't expect to encounter nearly as many people around that one. The potential to be discovered and questioned is far, far less. So you kind of like make your way down that staircase into these tunnels that are very dark and lit only with track lighting yellow track lighting across the top. There are a couple of halogen bulbs overhead, but every like 10 or 20 or so, there's a stretch that's just burned out that nobody's fixed yet. So the lighting down here is not great under the best of conditions, but that works to your advantage. You manage to use your tactical cloak, which is built into your jumpsuit we've established, to basically sort of make yourself completely invisible, or as close to it as is humanly possible.
I'm also doing a lot of really unnecessary dive rolls across hallways and stuff.
I don't know if I would ever say dive rolls are unnecessary when you're infiltrating a place. Yeah. So you do plenty of dive rolls, and as a matter of fact, there is a point where, as you were going through the system, a like very grizzled looking spacer dude with these like two very obvious and very low quality ocular implants, basically just like two red lenses with like a goggle frame that are just welded onto his face. He like walks past the hall that you are like making your way down, and like does a double take to where you are hidden with your tactical cloak. But you dive roll out of the way, and he just looks for a second and shakes his head and moves on. Yeah. And yeah, so using your mapping of the facility, you're kind of able to keep track of who is where. It's a lot that you have going on in your virtual interface as you're going through this. Like, you're trying to track where you're moving physically while you've got the security camera feed switching between all these different views as you're going, while you've got the map pulled up. But there's a reason why you were trained to do this kind of work, and there was a huge emphasis on being able to manage all of these different things at once, and your nanobots definitely help with that to make it easier for you. Yeah, you with little incident, you were able to locate an area that is marked with a yellow triangle with a person, with a little person image overlaid onto it, and it says like staff. It says personnel underneath it. It doesn't say staff. It is there is like a badge swipe on the side, but you are able to use your nanobots to basically just like crack that immediately. It's nothing impressive at all. You're pretty sure, like, even
Child's play.
Yeah, you're pretty sure even Ellis could like crack this system. Yeah, you so the door slides open, and it does appear to just be a locker room, essentially.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I am searching around for uniforms.
Yeah.
Can I at the same time export the map I have in my head, as well as a route, and beam it over to Jax?
Sure. What kind of a map are you what kind of a route are you mapping out? Just how you got here, or something for later?
Mapping the route I took to get in.
Okay.
And then the route to the empty hangar. I think it was 2.
Yes. Yes. 2 was the empty hangar. There's no guarantee it's going to stay empty. Well, actually, there is, because you compromised their security systems and they locked down air traffic. So no ships can land. It's a safe bet that this is going to be an empty dock until the problem gets resolved.
All right. So yeah, export the map with the route to the hangar, as well as a message that just says no questions. Meet here ASAP.
Okay. Now, when you beam it over to Jaxper, when you send it over, I'm assuming you're using the interface between the two of you.
Yep.
All right. Due to your bad experience, I want you to once again be assaulted by the Abyss for connecting to Jaxper's terrible, all-consuming nanobot system. that
My
terrifies you.
nanites are like fine, man. They're like fine. They've always been super nice to me. I don't know what
Always. So that's with Alien. You rolled a 7, right?
Yes.
Okay. Wait, do you have a -1 for Alien?
I do.
Okay. That works out. Right. It's gonna leave it. The abyss is gonna leave its mark. So you're gonna choose 2.
I don't have the
Yeah. So you get to pick. The abyss stares into you, and I will ask you one question from the list on the abyss stares back. You freeze up, and you have to keep your cool at disadvantage to shake it off, or you are scarred by your experience, figuratively or literally, and you may write a hook about it.
I'm scarred and I want to write a hook.
Okay. And then what's your other one? You get to pick 2. Well, you have to pick 2.
I guess I roll to keep my cool.
All right. Yeah, roll keep your cool at disadvantage. So 3d6, 2 lowest. And that is plus stalwart.
6.
6. Okay. Yeah, that's not great. You fail, so you get to mark an XP. But what is going to happen is at this moment that you sort of freeze up as you are sending this piece of information, you like are walking out the door of this staff area. You have managed to locate a bunch of those jumpsuits. Sorry, the coveralls. You have located. I assume you're just grabbing like 4 pairs.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So you've located 4 pairs of those uniforms. You tuck them away in your bag, and you are exiting that room. And as you do so, you almost bump directly into that real grizzled-looking dude with the obvious lenses in his eyes. Who just like he's pushing like 6'5", and he just like looks down at you. He doesn't say anything at first, but he's got like, yeah, he's just generally kind of a big, intimidating guy. Very patchy sort of beard, shaved head. This is clearly like his eyes are clearly not his only augmentation, and you can see what looks like a pretty large gun, handgun, but a very large, high caliber handgun clipped to his belt.
Oh, pardon me. Just collecting the laundry. I left my cart back on my truck, so I'll just get going. Do you have anything you want to send out?
You don't look like personnel.
I'm just collecting the laundry. Don't tell anyone. I forgot my uniform today.
You know, there is emergency alert preventing me from leaving this planet.
Oh, yeah, I'm not looking to leave the planet. You contract your laundry out to my company here in Independence, and I'm just trying to get back to my truck.
Someone sneaking around facility in tactical camouflage during emergency raises alarms. I have places to be and business to attend to, and you are preventing me from doing that.
I didn't mean to bump into you. Now, if you just let me collect my laundry. Oh, look, I missed this one over here, and I scoop another jumpsuit up off of one of the benches.
I do not care what job you perform here, but my time is valuable. I will be compensated for it.
look, is there anything I can do to help smooth this over? It's my first week on the job. Actually, it'd be really great if you could just point me to.
You are costing me business. You smooth this over by paying me, or I hand you over to independence.
Paying you. I. Do you need anything dry cleaned?
No.
All right. How much are we talking here?
Hand wash only.
I do a great job with delegates as well.
There's cargo in my ship. It loses value every day. You pay me. He names a price. It is not an insignificant amount of money. I'm assuming you don't have liquid assets on you.
No, probably not. No.
So it would be something that you would have taken at one of your last payments, or as one of the payments from your ship move. I know Ellis took it, but I think it's gone, right, by this point? Or do you still have it?
No, I still have some.
Okay, all right. How many uses do you have left?
1.
Okay, all right. You might be able to talk him down to 1 liquid assets if you roll for it. But you'd also have to convince him that you're going to go get that money from your friend. What I'm going to say, Karis, you remember that when you all got paid last time, Ellis specifically set some aside and said, like, we might need this.
Okay. All right, I guess I will, with my handheld, send a message over to Ellis.
Well, so your immediate problem is that this big guy is just like standing there waiting for you to answer. He named you a price, said you pay me this much, I will not turn you in. You complete your job, I am compensated for my time, everyone wins.
Okay, I would like to discharge. Hold on, let me just double check. Okay, cool. I want to discharge Sting like a bee.
Okay. So that's your move to poison people.
Yes.
Okay.
And I would like it to incapacitate my target for 10 hours. Leave no chemical trace, and method of delivery is the drone sting. Okay. We are in the locker room, right?
You were right outside the locker room, but you could drag him in. Basically, as you were leaving the locker room, you bumped into him.
Oh, okay. I would like to lure him back into the locker room under the guise of that's where my payment is.
Okay, so... okay, all right, that makes sense. I want you to roll... I want you to roll Manipulate. I want you to roll with Slick, I believe that is.
Good. Awesome.
Yes. Roll plus Slick.
Come on, Dice Maiden. 10.
With a 10, with a 10, he gets to choose one. Okay. He is going to ask you to promise something, and then we'll do what you want if you agree to it. And what he wants, he holds out his handheld and says, I scan your identification. You pay me. I know where to find you if deal goes bad.
I think I may have dropped my ID card back in the locker room. If you'll just come with me, I'll get it straight away.
It will only take a second.
Absolutely, it's just inside of the room over here, and I need to fetch it. And I would like to set all of this down, you know, as I'm lugging a bunch of jumpsuits over my shoulder. Just come with me, Rob.
I will. I'm happy to wait here. You want me to go with you? You want me to accept your payment? You do this thing for me first.
Okay, fine.
Give me your device.
I give. I don't think I have anything that I could feasibly hand over to him.
I mean, yeah, so this is a very common thing to swap, like, information with another person. It's basically just sort of like the equivalent of tapping your two handhelds together, and then your identification kind of copies over into his like, contacts. So basically all he's asking you to do is basically hold out your handheld or hand it to him, and then he will use his to obtain your information.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. I do have Jammer. So how much of a how much of this is visible to him as I'm fucking with either my handheld or his handheld?
Depends on how well you roll.
Right, I guess I'm discharging Jammer too.
Okay. And then roll plus slick.
Alright, I'm really digging a hole for myself here.
I mean, slick is good for you. You've like only rolled slick so far.
Oh, not and wrong command.
Yeah.
11.
That's an 11. Yeah, all right, cool. So, yeah. You, so normally the way the jammer works is like you lock up his device or short it out. In this case, I'm going to say that you use your nanobots to, so that the information travels over into his like device storage, but then is going to erase itself on a timer. So it will temporarily go onto his device, but only for like a minute, just long enough to like get you into the locker room, get him to comply with what you want him to do, and then it's just going to like disappear.
Okay.
All right.
So as I'm going in, before I leave the locker room, I want to send my drone out to sting him.
Okay. So yeah, you transfer your information. He looks down at it very briefly, just kind of like a side glance, and says, "It's a pleasure doing business," and then like gestures that he's going to follow you into the locker room. Guess what, everyone? We did it! Yay! We saved the stream. No thanks to Google.
Damn, Google.
Mm-hmm. It seems like all the
in-game Google equivalent.
there are so many. We are there's a planet made up of nothing but mega corporations in this universe, so take your pick. But yeah, here we are, still live from the apocalypse. We technically never ended the stream, so it's all good. Yeah, so unfortunately we won't have closed captions until I get the chance to figure out a new solution. But we can dive right back into it, and we'll just do the best we can from this point forward for the rest of the stream. So, when we stopped, Karis had just lured a large profit-seeking man into a locker room for the purposes of disposing of him, since he was extorting you, or at least attempting to extort you. So we'll pick up right back where we left off. You had used your, you were using your sting like a bee move, or attempting to. And that corresponds to your toxic move. So you have to choose an effect which you wanted to incapacitate him for 10 hours. You get to choose an enhancement. Which I assume you maybe wanted to do leaves no chemical trace.
Yes, no chemical trace.
Okay, all right. So no chemical trace, 10 hours incapacitated. and it's going to be injected, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right. I think that works just fine, but I think because you are using your micro drones. Interesting. Okay, so here's the thing about Sting Like a Bee. You have to spend 1 hold of micro drones to do it. And you rolled and discharged micro drones. And you picked 2 options.
You're right. In that case,
so you can still make a poison real fast and deliver it with an injection, but you're going to have to attack him to do it. You can't just tell your micro drones to do it for you.
What if I chose inhaled as the method of delivery, and I don't know, was able to just like a bunch of poison into his face as he looks away?
You can do that, but I'm still going to make you roll for it. Basically, because you can't spend a hold of micro drones, you are going to have to roll for it. The method of delivery is going to determine what you roll, but whichever one you want to pick, just let me know, and then I'll let you know what you have to do. Because it's not like he's not on his guard here. Like, there's definitely a part of him that is like, oh yeah, this person's going to try to jump me when they bring me into the locker room. But as far as he knows, he has your identification and your information, so he's not too worried about it. And he's pretty sure he could take you in a fight.
We'll just stick with injected then.
Okay. If you want to inject him, I'm gonna call it a firefight, actually. Because it's not like he can't retaliate. It's not an alpha strike. So roll volatile.
That is my +0.
It's not your -1.
Fight this man.
Fight this man. Fight this man.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. That's rough, buddy.
Oh no.
Okay, mark an XP. So you the way that I think this probably works, right, is you probably have a bunch of chemical like reagents on your person ready to be injected, but they need to be activated. And I imagine that's something that you use your nanobots to do. You use your nanobots to introduce the component that activates the different toxins and makes them do what you want them to do. So you can absolutely kind of just surreptitiously have some of your nanobots activate one of your tubes of chemicals and then go to like use, it's like I imagine sort of like a micro injector kind of thing that you could just jam into his arm or neck or whatever. But as you wind up to do it and as you turn around, he kind of catches your hand he catches your wrist in his hand, and at the same moment kind of just like quick draws that sidearm you saw him have. And he says, he looks at you with those like bright red mechanical eyes and says, "Not wise." And then he shoots you in the stomach.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah. So it is a big gun and it makes a lot of noise, which he does not seem concerned about particularly, but it is going to do 3 harm to you.
Ouch.
Yeah, are we still connected?
I mean, that's a valid question. The connection didn't go great. I've been kind of assuming that Karis isn't staying connected to Jaxper because if you haven't noticed, every time he connects to Jaxper, something bad happens.
Well, he just gets scared. Nothing bad happens. Yeah, okay.
This only happened because he froze up as a result of having a bad interaction with your nanobots.
That's true. Conversely, he still has nanobots in my system.
That is true.
Alert me.
That is true. That is true. That is something that could happen if you want to go that route. But yeah, for now, how are you accounting for this harm that you were not able to defend yourself against?
I might just take fifth 3 as stress and then mark a calamity.
Okay. Take the 3 of stress, mark a calamity. This would be your second calamity. You did mark one last session.
It did.
You can do that, but calamity is the measure of your character's lifespan in the game.
I did make a dumb choice here.
I wouldn't discourage it because calamity are real interesting, and these Powered by the Apocalypse games aren't necessarily meant to be played for a long time. So, if you want to mark a second calamity, go for it.
I'll do that.
Okay. Which one are you picking? You don't have to take them chronologically.
Now or soon, I encounter an opportunity to make a big score that will see my life's work complete.
Oh, that's the one. That is the one that ends your character. Don't pick that one.
Just kidding.
Yeah, that is like your retirement move. You roll for that one, and if you succeed, you don't die.
High class event.
High class event. And last time you picked useful or valuable item, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you chose a valuable artifact?
Yeah, I got some gold disc, I think,
yes,
from the scientist that I still don't know what it does.
Right, you did do that. Okay, cool. So you've got that. And now you have a high class event that's going to offer you a valuable opportunity. That's exciting. Okay, cool.
Keeping with the whole heist thing.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, so you fill out your stress track. How are you not dying? You're not going to die, but I need you to tell me how you're not dying. Because this man just emptied a 44 pretty much at point blank right into your stomach. You got Ellist.
In my head, he has his
Here's what I do.
around my throat and kind of lifting me up.
Okay.
So what I do is I take my right leg, wrap it, bring it up and wrap it around his arm and straighten it to kick myself off, and maybe I just catch a bullet to the arm or something.
Okay.
So it's not as
sure.
life ending.
You do some ninja shit, and you kind of kick flip off of him, and yeah, his bullet grazes your arm. Doesn't you don't take any damage, but it does cut through your suit a little bit. You'll have to get that you'll have to get that repaired before you use your tactical cloak or go out into space. But yeah, you're just you're kind of just feel the burn of a cut across your arm. You're bleeding a little bit, but you aren't dead, which is the important part. And he looks at you and cocks his head to the side with the gun up, and says, "Who are you?"
I don't exist. And can I go to try to inject him again?
Sure. Yeah, I'll allow it. You still got the compound. You can give it another shot.
Let's say I have the syringe in one hand and my nano blade activated in the other.
That sounds good. I like that. It's a very cool mental image. Are you sending that distress call to the drones you left behind in Jaxper?
Yes, 100 times yes.
Okay.
And the map and the route that they need to take.
Okay.
The route is just flashing extra rapidly.
Okay.
Emergency! Come on!
There's a lot going on with you right now, so I want you to roll Keep Your Cool plus Stalwart, and what that roll is going to determine is if Jaxper becomes aware that you've infected him with nanites. If you succeed on this roll, which you did, you can either give yourself disadvantage going forward because you're distracted trying to do this, or suffer one stress, or give up something, leave something behind, or take something with you, and I will tell you what it is.
I'll take the disadvantage.
Okay, you are a little bit distracted. You're spreading yourself too thin, doing too many things at once, and so you're going to have disadvantage on whatever you do next, which is going to be injecting this big Russian dude with the poison. But Jaxper, you get an alert coming through that it seems like normal Karis interfacing with you. It doesn't seem like it's coming from inside the house, so to speak.
Is in the middle of whatever scene that Ellis and I are doing.
Yeah.
Is going to send a hand down signal to everyone's handhelds and just start booking it towards here.
Okay.
So you don't have even a second, Ellis. You might be in the middle of speaking or saying something. Jack,
and you text me right there.
Yeah. It's just a immediate message. Like your phone dings and Jack.
Oh hell! All right, run after you, I guess.
Yep. You all get an Amber Alert on your handheld.
It's a silver alert. Karis has stolen the family car and is driving down 95.
It's what color are your nanites? You're blue, right? I'm green, you're blue?
My subclose blue.
An Azure alert.
Azure alert. Okay.
Nanite's going wild. Look out.
I love that.
Okay, so we'll rope that into your scene when we get to the code spoofing. But yeah, so Karis, you're gonna roll with disadvantage on firefight to inject this man. So 3d6, take the 2 lowest, plus volatile.
Five.
Do you have a -1 volatile?
Nope, it is a 0.
It is a 0. So that's a 6. It's not a 5. But it is technically a fail. Or no, sorry, you're right. 2 lowest.
Yeah.
3 plus 2, 5. Okay. All right. That's not great. Mark an XP.
But I'm leveling up.
Yay.
If you survive.
Hi, buddy.
Okay. All right.
Is it time for the quick fix? What am I going to do with this level?
Well, for now, you need to survive this encounter.
You do. You do need to survive this encounter. So you lunge at him again with this syringe in your hand, and again he just kind of catches your wrist lightly in his hand and twists it out of the way so it doesn't actually inject him. But he doesn't try to shoot you. He takes a step back, still kind of holding onto your wrist in one hand. It kind of feels like his arm is not mechanical, but his grip is tight enough that it almost feels like it is to you. And he kind of twists your wrist out of the way, and he looks down at you with the nano blade in one hand and the gun in the other hand, and he says, "I do not think this is worth fighting for me."
I really don't know what else I would do, though.
But I think perhaps you kill me. He points the barrel of his gun at your nano blade. Perhaps you kill me. He kind of points the gun sort of lightly towards you and says, "Perhaps I kill you." Either way seems like a bad situation for me. Obviously, you are a well-connected person. Perhaps I walk away. Neither of us dies.
Let me sneak away and you won't see me ever again.
Likewise. So he kind of
making me think that you're not supposed to be here either.
I don't know who you work for, but you are obviously not simply hiding here on Mars. You are obviously well-connected person, possibly important person, certainly dangerous person. And that means that there are other dangerous, well-connected people who may look for you. You walk
they
away.
might already know what you look like.
More reason for me to let you live.
So, will you put me down now?
Yeah, he kind of like releases your wrist and pushes you away in the same time. And as he does so, he like backs up and like brings the gun back up and points it directly at you. He's not like shooting you, obviously, but he's definitely gonna like, he's definitely not just like, we're gonna, turn and walk away and everything's gonna be fine. He like gestures with the barrel towards the door and says, "All right, I will leave after you. You disappear, I will leave. Never see each other again."
I put on one of the jumpsuits first.
Okay.
And I'm leaving with the rest of the jumpsuits slung
Okay.
over my shoulder.
He just sort of has like the barrel of the gun pointed like halfway between the floor and you, and like watches you the whole time, but yeah, you leave.
And as soon as I think it's safe, I will duck into another dark corner.
Okay. And just sort of hide out. Okay. Maybe like a minute after you actually what you see are like you see like three people in the same like coveralls that you are wearing come like sprinting down the hallway, probably drawn by the sound of the gunfire, which was like pretty loud. They like come sprinting down the hallway right as the door opens and the big guy with the eyes steps out, and he like looks over at them. They like stop short seeing him, and he like flashes the gun on his side and kind of like makes he kind of like bucks at them very lightly, and they like turn around and walk away. And then he walks in the opposite direction.
Now very curious about this man with cyborg eyes.
Yeah. But you've got your jumpsuits.
Yeah, right. I'm going to go post up in the empty hangar until the rest of the gang gets here.
I was gonna say, how do we track? Do we know where Karis is? I'm following Jackson at this point.
So yeah. I think we should put
that information over.
Yeah, I think we should put that on hold until we resolve your stuff. And then we'll see if you both leave the situation at that moment, or if one of you decides to stay, or what happens, and then we'll resolve you all meeting up based on that. Since we kind of know how that is going to play out a little bit, or at least we know that that's going to be something that comes up, why don't we jump to Maeve and resolve your transportation issue if we can first. So you are going back to Haywood's sort of part lot, scrapyard. Okay, cool. Did you give him a heads up that you were coming by, or are you just kind of going to show up again?
A drop in.
Okay, all right. Yeah, okay, cool. I think as you arrive, he's actually receiving a shipment. So there's like this big platform, it's obviously capable of floating, of hovering, but it is you've seen these kinds of things before, and it's now that it's at its destination, it wouldn't make sense to keep having it propulse itself. It consumes a lot of energy to do so. So it's useful for transporting over short distances, but now it's resting on its rails outside of the shop, and Haywood is currently out there and just sort of mopping at his brow in the Mars sun, pulling pieces out and being like, that's junk, throwing it into one pile and picking out another piece, being like, yeah, all right, and throwing it in like the good pile, essentially. And I assume you drive the truck over?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so he sees you coming a little bit off, and like kind of like puts his hands over his eyes, sees you, steps away from the thing, and kind of just like puts his hands on his hips and waits to receive you. And he says, he says, don't you have anything better to do on this planet?
You don't like seeing me come around?
I think you probably need something.
Okay, yes. You got me there. We got another job, but this transportation we got from you isn't gonna cut it for what we got lined up next. So I'm coming around to see if you've got anything I can jerry rig this into being able to handle something a little bit bigger than the sorts of parts we scavenged for you.
He looks at the truck, looks at you. What exactly are you needing to transport?
Don't think that's really something we need to get into. Just assume large. Pretty large.
How large?
You know, say the size of a room. I'm really looking for like a transport truck at this point.
What a specific unit of measurement.
Yeah. We'll assume that Maeve can give a more exacting measurement size, but
that's really all you were told about the autodock unit, is that it's basically a room that is meant to be installed. Like it's a ship's component, essentially.
Yeah.
It's something that is meant to be installed ready-made because like the systems are built into the walls and the floor and the ceiling. So it comes as like a cubicle that you then put into a ship or wherever really, but they are designed for like ship use. But anyway, he nods and says, "Yeah, all right. I think I might have something that could work, but I mean, what are you doing?"
But I told you it's our next job.
Oh. Well, look, you're an adult. You're obviously very capable. I recognize that it's none of my business, but I was kind of hoping after our last conversation, you might take some of it to heart.
The conversation where you told me that I shouldn't be running with the guys on my crew, because there's some reasons we've got to stick together for now. So
Yeah. No, I get it. And look, all right, it's obviously they're like your family, and I'm not. Again, obviously, you don't even know me, but well, all right. Look, you're right. I got something I can lend you, at least. Something that big, something that size you're talking about. It's not gonna it's not gonna come off of a truck like that.
Yeah, I wasn't particularly hopeful, honestly, that I could do much to make this size up as it was. So if you got something, I can even fix it up if it's not quite road ready or.
Yeah, I assume what you are going to be transporting is of a sensitive nature. Not going to want it easily visible, I'm assuming.
You're pretty perceptive, yeah.
All right. Yeah. Come on. And you follow him through the store, back down the lift into the scrapyard itself, back to where he has that like pool of vehicles that you pulled the truck out of in the first place, and where you were helping him work on the one ship last time you were here. And there is a big boxy transport that was pretty clearly a military vehicle at one point, clearly like part of a convoy. You can still sort of see the like faded remains of the Earth Coalition like symbol on the sides of the doors, even though it's been mostly scratched off. But yeah, he kind of like gestures and says, "Well, there she is. Used to use it for transporting parts, but that was a long time ago, before the grav lifts were as easy to come by as they are now. But there were probably about 50 of these driving around Independence at any point. Coalition left them behind. Most of them still run, so you shouldn't attract too much attention, as long as you don't draw it on yourself."
Me thinks about Jackspur and just goes, "No, we won't do anything to attract attention."
That's good. You don't got anybody like suspicious or hot-headed part of this job, do you?
No. Everybody's very very professional and reasoned with their responses.
All right, good. Maybe I was wrong about your crew. Sounds like they're a real great group. I take back everything I said.
You know, they're been together for a while now, and I think we just really learned how to but I really appreciate this. I'm sure, I'll be able to return it in exactly the same condition that you're loading it to me.
I'm not gonna hold my breath on that one. I think I probably overstepped the boundaries of our professional relationship, and I apologize for that. But if this is business, and I'm providing you with this piece of the puzzle,
Want to cut? Is that what you're saying?
pretty standard practice.
Yeah, that tracks. Yeah, I can't argue with that. How about I'll leave my truck with you as a security deposit on this, and in exchange for the loan, we'll give you a cut and the transport back when it's done, assuming have a transport
Okay.
left to give you.
10%.
Yeah, all right.
That's fair. Okay. Yeah, he you shake on it, and he's a little more like a little less like friendly this time. Not unfriendly by any means, but a little more like you get the impression that he opened up to you last time, and that in the wake of your interaction this time, and the understanding that you're not going to listen to him or like take his advice. He's kind of like preparing himself for the worst. He's kind of like, you know, all right, well, I already know how this is going to end, so there's no point getting attached. So,
Aww.
yeah.
No, it'll end great. It'll be great.
Okay, good. Glad. Yeah, it'll be good. So yeah, you you can take the convoy and just kind of like use the same lift to bring it back up to street level and kind of like take off with it. I guess the real question is, do you want to be driving it around right now, or do you want to pick it up right before the job?
Yeah, probably shouldn't be with it yet.
Okay. So yeah, you can you can leave it there and then just grab it right before like you guys start in on the action, but you have procured your transportation. Cool. For Ellis and Jaxper, who were going to talk to Morse. Morse was the name that you were given by Bouchard as the name of the best like ID spoofer in Independence, who owes Bouchard a favor. And he would have told you where to seek Morse out. He would have directed you specifically to a place he refers to as the Block. And as you like approach the Block is kind of its own section of the city. There are no skyscrapers or anything like that in Independence. By and large, it is a low to the ground, spread out city. Buildings that you've seen are almost never over 2 stories. But the Block is the exception to that. And you're not sure, it was clearly a military building of some kind. It's clearly called that because it is basically just a concrete block. But it is the closest thing to mass housing as exists in Independence. You don't know how many people live here, but judging by the number of people sort of like milling around outside and then like, you know, the overall conditions of Independence, you'd guess there's a lot of people packed into this building. So yeah, the bottom floor of it, you can see that it rises up probably about 10 floors, which kind of means that it sort of looms over everything else. But it also is long. It is very long. And at various points along the bottom floor, there are just openings. There's no door, there's no sliding door, there's no anything. It's just sort of like a door-shaped cutout that you are able to enter the building from. Inside, again, just that very like cinder block material. It's very clear that like there was nothing built into this building. It's basically just set in concrete. But as you like enter it and you start looking around, it's mostly just doors that you see. It's hallways and doors that have numbers on them. And yeah, they are like, they do have like locking keypads. They are the sliding sort of metal doors that you've seen in lots of other places on Independence. Very like functional, but also very boring and kind of ugly. And yeah, there are just like children. This is probably one of the first places you've seen children on Independence, aside from like out with their parents. But there's like a group of kids out front playing soccer with each other. You kind of like walk past them. They don't really pay you any mind. They're pretty focused on their game. You walk into the building in the correct section. The numbering system, the number you were given was 873-C. And what you would be able to surmise from this is that you are going to the C section of the building. It's A, B, and C blocks. And that would imply that you're going up to the 8th floor. There's no lift as you approach the building. You're just kind of like standing at the bottom of the stairwell, looking up at like 8 flights of like just solid concrete stairs.
At least it's not Earth gravity. Right?
Yep, let's get a hooking. Yeah, I mean, we climb stairs, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You walk up the stairs. It's not a pleasant.
Neither of us are delicate.
Right. Not a particularly pleasant experience, but you're able to do it no problem, and you scale up onto the floor. Sorry, give me 1 second here. Yes, had a feeling. Sorry, I think I had Della just turned down in Discord from like a movie night or something. So I've adjusted you and you should be good now. So yeah, anyway, you go up the stairs. It's a climb. It's not particularly fun. You all just had a conversation last session wherein Jaxper kind of told you what his deal was.
At least most of it.
Almost, yeah. Like as much as he could, it seems like. So is there like a tension between the two of you, just sort of a silence, or are you cool with each other now?
I mean, I don't know if cool with each other was what even Jaxper was going for out of that. I think it was, oh, I have to answer these questions now.
Yeah, it was definitely Ellis forcing the issue, but
yeah.
Yes.
I think Jaxper is probably like pretty awkward about this, like
what?
not making eye contact, like, but in that like every so often like glancing at you and like hurriedly looking away kind of way, just like I just said a whole bunch of like big things, and you seem to take it well, but I don't know when that's gonna change, man.
Expert just came out.
Jax just came out. Yeah. He's really not sure. Yeah. Not sure if this like chill phase is gonna last.
Yeah, Mom, Dad, I've got nanobots.
Mom, Dad, I'm nanobots.
Yeah,
I am nanobots, and
well, Mama Ellis is definitely more protective of Jaxper, but again, he is a let's say an emotionally stunted man. So that's not something that's going to be. That's also something that's not going to be very obvious. If you are asking this for further like story beat concepts, like I don't know that Ellis's attitude towards Jaxper has changed much outwardly, but inwardly he has been moved from like dangerous man category to wounded animal must protect category.
Checks out. So yeah, you kind of like have this weird sort of tense silence as you go up the stairs, and by the end of it dissipates somewhat because you're both, well, at least Ellis is very out of breath and panting. Jaxper probably is not.
Whoa, okay.
It's a lot of stairs.
That old. As a 34-year-old man, I can climb 8 flights of stairs without being out of breath, and I don't fight people.
But Ellis isn't used to that. I mean, when was the last time you went somewhere that didn't have a lift?
He's not that, like, fucking
it's
anaerobic.
It's Mars gravity, but we're used to being on spaceships with no gravity.
Yeah,
okay, all right. I'm just saying, he's like, it's not that bad.
I mean, it's not
all right.
It's not that bad, but you're trying. Like by the end of it, Jaxper's like fine, and I think you're just trying not to seem like you're even a little bit out of breath.
Yes, maybe I have some perspiration.
Right, a little bit. So yeah, you
defend my own honor at this point as a 34-year-old who doesn't climb that many stairs. I'd be all right.
Really doxing yourself as old live on stream.
Yeah, I guess.
34 is pretty ancient, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, clearly. I'm so
like
tell.
Yeah, you really wanna start it on that.
Are you gonna make this fight? Are we gonna fight? Are we having
Listen
a
up,
fight?
kid. Young man.
As one of the younger people on this stream, I'm just making an observation. So yeah, you get to the 8th floor. and you exit the staircase into yet another one of this just sort of never-ending uniform hallway of these doors that are numbered, and there's a different one probably like every 10 to 15 feet, kind of like a hotel. And eventually you find the correctly marked one, the one that Bouchard told you to go to.
We go to it.
Okay, yeah, I mean, so you're in front of it. Do you want to knock? Do you want to hack it your way into it? Do you want to ring the bell?
No, we're not hacking our way into it. That's not.
I'm just listing.
Rude. I think Jaxper will like knock and then just sort of gesture for Ellis to take the lead, because Ellis is
I could have knocked, but yeah.
I got there first. Because I'm not winded going up 8 flights of stairs.
Yeah, all right. I'm holding in the exercise exertion vomit. You're right.
Uh-huh.
Exactly. Okay, yeah, so you reach out, kind of like rap on the door a little bit. The keypad on the side of the door chimes, and a very robotic sounding voice with no like distinguishing qualities whatsoever says, "Who is it?"
Wow, I clearly am not prepared for this. What was the doctor's name who we got this information from again?
That would be Dr. Etienne Bouchard.
That's right, Bouchard. Friends of Dr. Bouchard here for business.
One second. In that same sort of very heavily modulated voice. The door slides open, just a crack at first, and you see like an eye peering out at you. Spots you two, takes you in for a second, clearly determines you are like nobody involved with any sort of like
law enforcement.
Yeah, nothing like that, very obviously. And then it slides open the rest of the way. It appears to one thing you notice is that it slides open like not it's not automated. It is these doors are clearly meant to work that way. You've encountered these like everywhere. It's very commonplace. But it appears like whoever lives here has disabled that, and it can now only be opened manually. So yeah, it kind of like slides open, and you can see the person standing beyond who just slid it open. They are a very sort of slight figure, wearing sort of dark clothes that have like some very interesting like neon designs stitched into them, like literally neon. They are literally glowing. And there's not much light beyond them in this domicile, so it kind of stands out for sure. You can see in the light from the hall that you are currently out in, you can see that they're wearing these very retro-looking glasses, almost like those sort of like 1960s, 1970s, like stereotypical accountant glasses or whatever that you would see. But from the side that you are on, you can kind of see in the lenses just like lines of script or code or something, just sort of like constantly like flying by. You don't know whether it's a cosmetic effect or whether this is just some sort of weird heads up display thing that like this person is okay with. You're pretty sure it would give you a headache. Yeah, they're wearing a like black sort of beanie hat over their hair as they like step back and kind of let you in. Beyond, you can see a very sparse concrete block of a room, like what you would expect based on the outside of this building. But one wall of that room is completely occupied by monitors and screens and other equipment that you couldn't begin to identify, that is all wired together in a very like it is wired together in a very modular way, but like the cable management is impeccable. So it is clear that this is a very organized, very intentional setup. However, there are a lot more things that are exposed and wired here than you are used to seeing from systems around. The room is a very cool temperature, which surprises you, because that has not been your experience anywhere on Mars so far. And then pretty much the only other furniture in the room that you can see is like a cot. But they step back and they like nod their head for you to come inside. And they kind of like scratch it at one arm. Their shirt is like a very long sleeved. It like almost comes down over their hands. But they like scratch at one arm and they say, Bouchard said you were coming.
Yep.
You say why we're coming?
As a matter of principle, I try not to ask too many questions. But I know you're looking for IDs.
That's right.
Yep, that's pretty much all we're looking for. IDs for support staff down by the docks, if possible.
I mean, even if you hadn't told me, I would have been able to surmise that's pretty much why people come here. So you enter.
We also don't ask too many questions.
Good. You enter the room, and he kind of takes two hands onto grabs a handle that's been welded onto the inside of the door, and then slides it shut behind you. And immediately kind of moves over to the wall of terminals and screens and things like that, which is the only light source in the room, but it is a pretty significant light source. He says, "We don't need to talk too much or introduce ourselves. You can call me Morse if you need to call me anything. I'll take your devices now."
Sounds good. So how does this work? Do we need devices for each person, or because we have two more on the crew we'd like to get in, but we can do that remotely, or
you got like a weird handheld or something?
Send me, honestly, if you send me the data, I can probably make it work.
Well, so his point in asking is basically like nobody's gonna give your like device, nobody's gonna give your handheld a second thought. He's gonna spoof the identification in your handheld, but he's basically saying like that works as long as the physical part of your handheld doesn't draw attention. I imagine Jaxper's is probably just like an off-the-shelf kind of like very normal thing, but as we established previously,
Alice's is weird.
Alice's is
what
not.
I meant more was like we were trying to get IDs for the other two who aren't here, and presumably I don't have their phones.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Do they need to
I assume we can have bought blanks that are just like off the shelf.
Sure.
Like,
no, I can
because I don't know how this works
like
in the universe.
Yeah. No. I can provide that. He opens a drawer in the desk, and it's just full of blanks essentially.
Burner communicators.
Essentially, yeah. So he'll pull two of them out and start getting to work. He'll plug them in. There is on the middle of the desk there is a line of plugs. And he just takes two of them and sets them down each on two of the plugs, and then takes your device, takes Jaxper's device and sets it down. I don't know if Ellis is offering his, but he's gonna look at it.
Oh yeah, I'll at least hand it over. Well, this is what I use on a daily.
Yeah, God, no, that's not gonna.
All right, well, we'll just do a third burner then. That's fine. I understand it's advanced technology or whatever.
Jaxper's just
complex. I have to use two dongles to plug that into the stereo on the ship.
Just take it away.
Dude. You gotta move with the times, man.
It's waterproof. They don't do that anymore. I don't.
Fucking is it? Because I will throw it into the sea if it'll get it gone.
Well, I didn't say ocean proof. All right, there's a difference. Salt is anyway.
he plugs the third burner in and just starts like getting to work. Just kind of typing. There's screens, like various windows and things popping up in all over the screens, the wall of screens in a chaotic manner that kind of is upsetting to watch.
NCIS hacker program style.
Very, very, very much so.
Set my nanites to like tracking what he's doing. Mostly, I'm just going to be. I want to be making sure he's not putting in any back doors or his own tracking into our stuff.
Meanwhile, I'm gonna scope out the physical situation.
I'm like looking in that direction, but I, Jaxper, am not really tracking anything. I'm not trying to process. I'm just trying to feed visual data to the nanites.
Right. That makes sense. Okay, I think why don't both of you roll scope it out, but for separate things.
I don't know.
With
that's calculated.
First thing about technologicals.
Yes. Don't know nothing about no tech.
I don't know nothing about no computers.
Yes. That's a 12.
Yes, that is a 12 for Jaxper. What did Ellis get?
11.
11. Wow. All right.
Nope.
You guys both get a lot of questions. So you can each ask 3 questions. Yeah. Ellis,
do you want all the questions first, and then you can kind of intermesh what you're going to give us? Would that be the most functional for you?
I mean, it works. There are only 7 questions.
Yeah.
And you guys get to ask.
Because we're addressing 2 different things, right? Because I can't ask anything about the tech. I don't know.
So no,
I already know what I'm asking, though.
Okay, cool. I'd say let's do it one at a time, and we'll start with Ellis.
Okay, so it's going to be, what should I be on the lookout for? Who or what here is not as they seem? And who or what here could be a useful opportunity?
All right. Interesting. Interesting.
The answer to some of those, I did look this up the other day because I was interested in this. This was like a week ago. Is that you don't have to like come up with an interesting solution to some of those. It could be like, what here is not as they seem. It's like nothing. It's pretty straightforward, but it's a box.
Oh yeah.
Like,
yeah. For sure. For sure. I just like to stop and think about it because it's a good opportunity to seed some stuff.
Give you something.
Yeah, if we want to do that. Okay, so you did what should I be on the lookout for? Who or what here is not what they seem, and what was the other one?
The last one. What could be a useful opportunity?
A useful opportunity.
What or whom, I guess, could be a
what or whom could be a useful opportunity. Okay, cool. I mean, I think the first question, so who or what here could be a useful opportunity? I think what's obviously going to occur to Ellis is like, none of you are particularly good at doing anything with like the net or the web. And it's pretty,
as far as I know.
At least as far as Karis is. Right, exactly. Karis, like, you get the impression Karis is capable. Karis is a surprising person, but obviously having somebody like this might be able to help you figure out what happened with Grace.
Sure. If information conduit, some kind of net hacker, etc.
Like, you have a few pieces of information that you gleaned from what happened with the Nephilim back then, but no way to connect the dots or give it any context.
And I haven't really found any other leads.
Right, exactly. So it is possible that someone like this, who is obviously capable of manipulating data, working with data, is probably well connected, and has a reason to be hiding on Independence, would be a valuable asset in something like that.
Sure.
As far as who or what here is not what they seem, I'm going to say that also plays into it. Nobody with like profitable skills like this lives on Mars in a place like Independence under an assumed name unless they have something to hide.
There's a history here for some reason.
Yes. Yeah. And what here should I be on the lookout for? I mean, I think you're keeping an eye out, but I don't think you are seeing any immediate threats. I imagine Ellis kind of stands by the window, sort of surveys the landscape around the block, But yeah, you don't.
I mean, yeah, I guess like mostly too. I give the room a once over, and I'm like, oh yeah, a hacker's den.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, it's pretty much a bed and computer stuff.
Look out for potential fungal infections and maybe a piss bottle.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And Jaxper also gets 3 questions.
So I'm specifically, I guess my question is really I'm looking at the data. So I guess what is my enemy's true position is the best question, because I'm really specifically looking for, are you trying to put in backdoors or your own? Are you trying to flip your own stuff into this?
Sure. No. Okay. What you pick up is that I'm trying to decide. We'll just go with that. So what you are picking up as you're kind of like scanning all of the things, it's pretty clear to you that a lot of what is happening on these screens, maybe like 55 to 60% of what's happening on the screen is just meant to distract anyone who might be observing the processes, to like make it hard to figure out and follow what's going on. But your nanobots are kind of parsing what is being done here as it's happening. And most of it is over your head, but you are getting sort of like a boiled down, absolute, like bottom of the barrel simplistic feedback from them about like what is happening. At the very least, you have like threat detection going. You can see by what's happening here, it is not, this person, Morse, is not putting anything on your device. But your nanobots do alert you that they are copying your device.
Uh-oh.
Who buys that data?
The typing continues, or rather, it's not like keyboard typing, but like the motions continue, because I imagine a lot of it is like touch interface and stuff like that, motion controls, things like that. But there's the slightest hitch, the slightest pause of like an oh shit moment, but they cover for it almost immediately, and like most people wouldn't even be able to tell that like you tripped them up at all. They say like, what are you talking about?
The data you're copying off our phones. Who's buying?
Alice's ears perk up. Walks over a little closer to the desk. Huh?
Look, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just spoofing your ID.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to get like.
You have to get.
I have to get like pretty deep into your systems here. Like, this is a system level function that I'm doing here. I'm overwriting your like basic identity.
Oh yeah. This may shock you to learn. Not my first rodeo. I know you don't have to copy all that stuff over to your own storage, which you are doing, I assume, as a safeguard. I'm just interested to know who's buying. Who's in the market for this kind of information? Just in case I ever want to, sell some information on the market.
Morse looks over at the two of you, clearly in threat assessment mode. Like looking for any like signs of you like hands on weapon, squaring up. Like, I guess the real question here is, are you are you looking threatening in any way, or are you genuine? Like, do you care about this and you're actually curious, or like, are you threatening?
Care about this a lot. I'm real.
This is mechanically threatening.
This is mechanically threatening to me. I think Jaxper is not. Has no hands-on weapons, nothing like that, but is definitely giving him kind of he's trying to look like Ellis does when Ellis does his like steely eye thing. But it may or may not be working for Jaxper.
Funny you should
Ellis
mention
does
that.
the steely eye thing, and Morse does some shit.
Yeah. You rolled 13, so
on
shit.
Steely Glare. Yeah, so Morse gets to pick 2.
Yes.
They shut up immediately.
Okay.
They stop moving. They lower their weapons. They do something stupid or reckless, or they hesitate, stumble, or mutter.
Which 2 are you picking?
Oh, they choose.
Oh, they choose to. Okay.
Yeah, they choose
Sorry.
2.
I thought you got to choose. Okay.
Yeah.
They're just going to do the 2 obvious ones. They're going to shut up immediately and stop moving. So they're going to like turn to face you. They're going to stop doing what they were doing. And like kind of like turn to face you too. They kind of like back up. You like hear the thump of them backing up to the edge of their like workspace. Like the back of their thighs hits the like bumps up against their workspace. So it's clear they're sort of like retreating from you two.
Now I'm just a simple country scrapper, but sounds like you need to answer some questions that my friend has here of a technological nature before things get more interesting than perhaps you were prepared for on a Tuesday afternoon. Does that sound about right, Jax?
I mean, not trying to make this person's life hard.
Oh, me either. I like easy. Easy is nice. Easy and simple is how I like things to go.
I just want to know who's buying.
That sounds like a reasonable question. Maybe you should answer the man's question.
Okay, look, I don't sell anything, and they continue talking, and I will continue talking as well, but at that moment, Jaxper, you start to get a red alert, call of danger from Karis, along with just a rush of information about where he is, and like basically just like in need of assistance, like a call for aid.
So Jaxper, the way this winds up looking is Jaxper sort of sitting here with this kind of like half amused, half predatory, like, really, you thought you were going to get one over on us? Come on, guy, just do the job we were asking you to do. You owe the man a favor. And he's sort of probably saying that, like, look, we're just asking you, do the job, do the favor, no funny business, and like has just a second of like a twitch, like a hitch in what he says. Ellis's phone rings and he runs out the door.
Hey, okay. Do you grab your mobile? Do you like pull it off the dock? There's
no attempt at grabbing his thing. He's just, we're here for business. Out.
Okay.
So I'm gonna look at that and then look back at Morse and go, do you still need those? How long is that gonna take?
I mean, like a couple of minutes at least.
Can you get me his at least, and then work up 4 of the burners?
All
right, that's fine. Keep them. Again, I like easy. Maybe don't copy that data. I don't know how much he knows about shit or whatever, but you and I, we got business later too. That's a good thing, not a threatening thing. And I'll be back for the phones. Fuck. I hope the rest of your day is much less interesting. And then Alice also darts out the room.
Just leaving Morse like standing there, like looking, like looks at you all, like having left through the door, then like looks around back at the room and like back at the screen is just like, what the fuck?
Correct. Yeah. The general attitude.
Yeah. So Jaxper is just sprinting for the dockyards, it sounds like. which
this
is
will
not
put Alice out of breath because you're much faster than me.
Oh
yes. So you are going clear across the city. From the block to the dockyard is like opposite ends of the spectrum. So yeah, it's gonna be a haul. Are you like contacting Maeve at all to let her know what's going on, or?
It was an all hands thing.
Yeah,
So
I think
it
everyone
was
got the text right.
Cool.
like a shipmate in trouble, like sort of all hands alert.
Okay.
Do we have like tracking on each other, like GPS tracking on each other, or is it just we know to go to the dockyards?
Yeah, you get a data dump from Jaxper that probably takes a couple of minutes for your like phone systems to like parse before you're able to pull up like the map and everything like that.
Okay.
I'm gonna presume that this was like when I had already left Haywoods and was sort of like driving back.
I think what happens
just like divert.
Yeah, I think what happens. Yeah, I think what happens is you're finishing up in like the office or in like the main counter area of the scrapyard with Haywood. You just negotiated the 10% thing, shook on it, and that's when you get the ping on your handheld that says like there's an emergency situation and like you got to go.
I'm sure that'll be really reassuring to Haywood, who is trying to convince me that all the people I run with are just disasters.
I think as you turn to like run out and you're like, oh sorry, I gotta go. He like just calls out after you as you go, like, never gets any easier.
Yeah. She's not gonna respond because like what could she possibly say? Like she knows.
Yep.
Should have been a PC.
What was that?
Shouldn't have been a PC.
It's true. That's the crux of this argument essentially is Haywood is like, you could just settle down somewhere, be a nice NPC.
Main character problems.
Yeah.
Got main character syndrome.
Like, look, kid, you're a sweet kid, but you're not PC material.
Oh.
Ouch, Haywood.
Hell.
No, his like, look, you got too much compassion. These PCs, they just like shoot people in the gut at like the drop of a hat.
Yeah, I was gonna say, these murder hobos you're traveling around with.
Just got like a vision of like, I'm a PC and I'm a Mac. Of like me and Jaxper.
I'm a PC. I'm a main character.
Oh, that's true. Which one of you is the Mac and which one of you is the Windows?
God, it's gotta be Jax is the Windows, right?
Jax is the Windows because he's the older and more busted version.
Yeah.
Fancier Mac.
Yeah.
Yeah. Karis is all shiny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So yeah, you rush out and like hop in your truck and are like driving to intercept. And I think because it's such a long haul, you are actually able to like as you are driving to the dockyards, you spot Jaxper and Ellis just like booking it down the street. Like Ellis clearly just in bad shape. Yeah. Jaxper's just kind of like
pull up alongside and like slam on the brakes and be like, get in.
Yeah.
Alice takes a minute to like lean on the side of the truck.
Jaxper grabs you by the shirt and hauls you in. Yoink.
Okay. Yeah, you hop into the truck and book it across town. You're like dodging other trucks, other vehicles, lots of bikes. You do spot, now that you're looking for it, one or two of those like convoy trucks that you just commissioned. Haywood was right, and there are quite a few of these still operating around the city. Yeah, you like hang a really sharp right into like the edge of the dockyards. You are about as far in as you can drive. It's pretty much all foot traffic from this point into the dockyards itself.
I'm gonna send a ping. I'm gonna send a ping just to make sure he's either still in trouble or what's going on.
Sure, yeah, and I think Karis, as you are pretty much like coming up out of the dock 2 entrance from the tunnels, you get that ping. And you see you look to your left at the end of the dockyard row, and you see the truck just kind of like parked there with like everybody like on high alert.
Yeah, Jaxper is like walking toward the position you sent, like knife out, like clearly ready to ruin somebody's entire month.
The only response you get is injured.
So are you like are you I honestly I think probably Jaxper, as you like start to like stalk down the dock path, you see Karis come up from below.
And I'm laying low, maybe like leaning up against some transport crate or something.
He's gonna you'll get another ping with like just status request. Like he's coming over, he's like lifting you up, but he's not saying anything. It's just all like it's just status request.
Oh, I guess I did clear out all my stress because I took a calamity.
Yeah,
so
you did.
Maybe I'm not as injured. Huh.
No, I mean you're fine. Really, you just got that one cut across your arm that also kind of like damaged your tactical cloak a little, but otherwise you're totally fine.
Okay, so I just rush back into the truck with Jaxper and relay everything to everyone and hand out the jumpsuits.
You all right? What happened?
Oh, hey guys, I got us an in.
But
okay, but
weren't you in trouble? Like what?
I was,
What?
but everything is okay now. Here are your jumpsuits.
well, we appreciate that, but also,
Little time sensitive here, guys. Little time sensitive.
Yeah, it's a little time sensitive. We just booked it across the city to make sure that you weren't dying.
I threw up a little bit. I'm gonna go do the rest of that now.
Did almost die.
Walks around the other side of the truck.
But lucky random happenstance, I'm not dead. But now we're in a bit of a rush, so I think that maybe we should get going. Here, put this on, and I throw a jump that just gets Ellis in the face.
What?
All right. Well, then we need to get back across town to get our freaking IDs back.
Yeah, we gotta go talk to Morris again.
Oh shit! I thought you were already okay. I guess I should have been a little more specific.
Only scared everyone half to death. It's fine. So do you need medical attention or?
It's just a scratch.
That cough was oddly suspicious, but all right. Back to Morse's then.
Yeah, you've got
maybe no way. I don't.
Oh, I didn't think you guys were gonna leave your IDs there.
Hey, emergency is an emergency. Cares. We care. We came because we care.
Do one of you want to drive because you know where we're going, or should I?
Oh, sure. No, yeah, I got it. All right, that's fine. Alice will drive back to Morse's with the whole crew.
Yeah, you drive. You pile into the truck and you head back to the block.
Karis, you get a text message on your phone from Jaxper, who's like just sort of sitting there, like looking out the window. You get a text message saying, "This is why integration is important, because then I would know exactly what I was up against, instead of just a minute status report. Also, I can feed you data up to 8 minutes post-mortem, by the way, which could be handy for when I get shot and killed."
Again.
Again. Hopefully it doesn't get there again.
Again. I get a very, like, I don't know, 1960s, like, advertisement / training video vibe of, like, the importance of integration. When you have nanobots, and your friends have nanobots too, it's important to integrate your nanobots, kids.
It's important. Integration is the name of the game.
That's
Productivity.
Right. Integration is key. Here at Holy Crap, We're Not Scrappers Anymore Incorporated. Integration's what keeps us alive.
Wait, are we criminals? Enterprises.
Totally just a normal scrapper here.
Obviously.
Totally just a normal guy.
All
anyway.
Right. Yeah, you reached the block. So I assume Karis is not going to reply to this or acknowledge it in any way. But let me know if I'm wrong.
Karis just says noted.
Okay.
No habla nano.
Alright. I'm taking a fucking storm from this, man.
I'm so mad.
Gosh, I relax you and now Karis pisses you off? You're having a weird day.
I am having a weird day, man. It fucking sucks. Now we gotta go back and talk to this mook. You're gonna have to do that.
Let's go intimidate a hacker.
You're gonna have to go talk to the hacker on your own, man. He's probably not gonna talk to me.
What? But you're the one who knows technical things. I was like, well, am I just picking up the phones? Do we need to threaten him more, or?
I mean, you do have Maeve with you now.
What?
You do have Maeve with you now.
No, so just take Maeve in with you.
Yeah. All right. I think honestly, what we should do is probably just take a quick 5-minute break and then pick back up with the Morse conversation, which will probably be brief, and then we'll
I was gonna say if we don't have any plans to like steal that stuff back or do anything like that, literally that can just be like we go upstairs and get the phones back.
Yeah, I think if
y'all
y'all aren't interested in continuing that conversation, which I wasn't positive you weren't, that's probably how it'll go. But
I think we're just gonna pick that up and then we'll hit him up later to talk about like future Grace things or ask about data or whatever.
Sounds good. All right.
Can you tell Maeve that you might have this in to like get information on Grace?
I think I will after the job. I think like we'll handle Jaxper's data theft, and then hey, this is a person who might be able to help because it's not an in.
Because if you tell her now, she's not going to let it rest. Obviously.
Right. Yeah. Well, and also like Morse hasn't said I know things. Morse just looks like a potential resource we might be able to ask things to.
So. Yeah. Okay. We will be right back in about 5 minutes. Thanks for hanging out with us. See you in just a little bit. Hello, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. We are still live from the apocalypse, and our connections are not great, but we're hanging in there. We're hanging in there. We're gonna finish out in a strong fashion. Quick shout out. Pretty sure we just hit 100 followers.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
We're in triple digits. Let me double check here. Oh no, that's gonna double the audio. Don't do that. All right, well, it hasn't updated on Twitch yet, but 46 seconds ago, Seldom Awake followed us. I don't know if you're still here, but I think you're probably our 100th follower, so welcome. Thanks for that. Yeah. So that's cool. Thank you so much. But yeah, we are, so y'all were headed back to pick up your new identification, which would allow you to get access to the docks to pull off your big damn heist. So you're not, it sounds like you're not planning to continue confronting Morse, the hacker that you got to do this for you.
And
not yet.
Probably not. Probably just being like, don't copy our shit. Don't do it.
Well, if you're not going upstairs, I'm not even going to say that. Like, I'm literally just going to go pick up the stuff, and if we want to confront him later, I'm going to let the people with more technological savvy at that make that call. Because I don't even know why I'm threatening him.
Yeah, Jaxper probably will go up and just be like, just don't do this.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
if the two of that's also a good idea, because if the two of us were the ones who were there, the two of us should be the ones who go back.
Yeah, makes sense.
He also does have your device.
That is true. He only has Jacksper's device. Yeah, so you go back and back up to the block, back up to the 8th floor, to his door where you knock, and again he slides it open, and the eyes, like the eye kind of just peeks out from inside again, and just kind of like passes you your phone, your handheld, from inside.
4, please.
Yeah, yes, yeah, it starts passing on the other ones. It says, look, I just so you know, I don't sell data. I just collect it. I just think it's interesting.
You just think it's neat.
Look,
So you collect data pretty much anywhere you can find it?
yeah, okay.
Okay,
Look,
Sergey Brin.
some people collect baseball cards, okay? It's not that weird.
I mean, it's pretty weird even to collect baseball cards these days. Have you seen baseball lately? Anyway,
Dude,
hey, we might have use for someone who collects data of seemingly unconnected reasons and places, but for now we're in a bit of a rush, and you've had a weird day. So we'll talk to you about that later, maybe, Jacksper?
sure.
All right. So you have yourself a blessed one, and whatever. All right, go with God.
Sure. Just to be clear, this was a favor to Bouchard.
Oh yeah, this thing was. No, we might have further. I presume you're in the market for money in exchange for goods and services.
Yeah, if you can pay, that's fine.
Yeah, that was kind of my idea. Anyway, all right, we'll talk to you later.
Door slam shut.
I was mighty expected. Anyway, all right, down to the truck.
You are.
What? I'm a what? Now go on, finish your thought.
I just.
I frankly don't know where you're going, so go on, get there.
You were like some big badass enforcer, man.
Have you seen that man? You could tear him in half accidentally.
Yeah, no, yeah, I
Does he
know.
scare you? I don't like. Why are we
No.
intimidated? Okay,
No,
so
you just, you know, it's just you. You're just kind of like, oh, folksy, oh, you have a blessed one.
that's how you make friends, Jacksper.
Is it?
I'm not trying to scare the man. I want to ask him for a favor later and maybe pay him for goods or services. I shoot people I gotta shoot. I handshake people I don't. It's making your way in the world. You gotta give a little to get some.
Sometimes you shake a hand with one hand and you shoot him with the other.
We call that a Han Solo, and that gets done sometimes. Listen.
All right. I will.
I don't know.
Keep all of
It's
that
business,
in mind.
all right? Like, we don't have to shake down everybody. Like, what's his name who sold us the truck? He seems decent. Maeve gets along. Haywood?
I'm just pointing out the fundamental dichotomy of your personality, my dude.
Are you trying to call me a hippopotamus, Jackson?
Yes.
I
Yes.
think I mildly take offense to that.
You know what? Except here, I'm not calling you a hippopotamus because a hippopotamus is a better land speed.
Oh shit.
I don't know enough about what we're talking about to be offended by that, but I know I should be. And
Is
that's
call-
Slow, old man, brings
let's
you
get to the fucking
downstairs.
truck.
Is calling someone a hippopotamus a folksism I'm not aware of?
No, that was
going
Ellis
for
forgetting what the word hypocrite is.
Yeah. Checks out.
Yeah.
Checks out. All right, cool. Yeah, so Maeve and Karis just, had a...
That all happened immediately outside of Morse's door, by the way.
Right.
So he definitely heard all of it.
Yeah. Maeve and Ellis get a moment of, like, weird silence down in the truck together. I'm sorry, yes, Karis and Maeve get a moment of, like, weird silence down in the truck together. Before the others come out of the building.
Yeah,
and
he's just sizing him up.
Maeve's just sizing him up.
Karis is hiding behind his handheld.
Yeah. Just playing Flappy Bird.
Yeah.
Damn, he still has that installed?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so it appears you've got a lot of your components put together. You've procured a getaway vehicle. You've got your new identification. You've got uniforms, and you've managed to ensure that no new ships will arrive and no ships will be taking off.
So here's the big question: is how are we actually going to get in and get out again? We got all these pieces to do that, but like...
Yeah, running the gate ain't exactly a great idea in a truck that big. I mean, we could get through it, but I don't think we're going to get anything out.
And do you have any, like, crucible codes for us to, like...
Because they're on lockdown now. I don't know, is there anything we can pretend to be hauling into the dockyard? What would make sense?
Well, I already used the laundry excuse.
That we do.
Well, if the laundry excuse works, that's fine. But this truck is significantly bigger than your standard launderer.
Well, that's what I'm saying. What do our spiffy new IDs say that we are?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we can pretty much say that they say whatever you want them to say. All you told him were, like, you just wanted, like, dock workers. Sure. But we can, absolutely retcon that to say that you asked for specific, like, roles or specific jobs or things like that.
Yeah, I mean, we have to be coming up with something to be carrying it, right?
Like, yeah, we're bringing in a new crane to load and unload.
A crane.
I was going to say, do we need to get a crane then?
No, they're not going to look. It's a big box. If they look, we tell them we're on a time schedule. Getting in's not going to be the issue. Getting out again is only going to be an issue of Crucible shooting at us.
What if we go to Mars Costco's and get a bunch of mini water bottles and we are refilling their vending machines?
Ah, yes.
Like hundreds of thousands of mini water bottles to put on the truck that can carry a room.
I'm not worried about getting into and out of the docks. That's easy. How are we getting into and out of the Crucible ship?
Oh, I think I can handle that.
Like how you handled getting in and out of the docks?
I mean, to be fair, he did get in and out of the docks.
Hey, I got us here, and I bought time like we needed.
Also, I don't know that any of us know that he got into a weird fight with a Russian man. Like,
no, I did not mention him.
Yeah. No, I think that's privileged information.
Yes, but we do know that something looked bad enough that he did a giant emergency thing, and that is very cagey about what actually happened.
Yeah, but for all we know, he had a bad fart and panicked.
So,
what dialed you?
Yeah, just mistook, gas for heart problems. We don't know.
It could be.
Remember that time he ate the chili and thought he was going to die? And you all thought you were going to die?
After we ate your chili.
Well, we all...
And it was...
Yeah.
Why you're not allowed to cook anymore?
That was a universal experience on board our ship.
I thought the pennies would add something to it. Anyway.
What's the plan? How are we getting onto the Crucible ship, and how are we getting this thing off of it?
Right. So I think that the best way is probably for us to either be like a cleaning crew or some sort of maintenance crew that gives us an excuse to be in a specific bay at any given time.
Does that get us on the ship?
How do we get on the ship? Or are we just walking on board the ship and saying, like, hey, we're taking your shit now, beast? Because I mean,
that's not an option, but it's kind of a loud one.
Yeah.
Not wrong.
It's not a good option. I don't want to walk onto a Crucible ship.
I can't figure out how to say, I've got this, without telling them how it is I've got this.
Well, we could... so hauler is kind of where we like dock worker. My personal brain is not coming up with the longshoreman. longshoreman is kind of where we're at as a status. Is there any feasible reason why we might need to put something onto or take something off a crucible ship during the middle of a lockdown?
We can say we're looking for contraband.
Since
That's
we're in the middle of
security,
okay.
That
Well,
is
then,
Do we spoof as security? That's going to mean a different jumpsuit, right? Like,
Not necessarily.
different color jumpsuit.
oh, I assumed security would be wearing, I don't know, security uniforms. I don't know.
If they question that, then they're looking for bribes.
From what you have seen, and I would also say that you can feel free to roll scope it out, if you want to try to case the docks and get some useful information. But I will say that from what you've seen, the workers who are lifting things and repairing things and doing stuff like that all appear to wear the same red jumpsuits. The security that you were talking about is mostly just like scary looking people standing around in regular clothes with weapons, and it's likely that they are just sort of hired guns.
Oh, well, then we could do both.
Yeah,
I can stand around in scary looking clothes with a weapon.
Yeah.
It's what I do most days.
Yeah, uniforms to get into the docks. Take the jumpsuits off and just impersonate security with our IDs.
Sounds good to me.
So we need to
Leave Maeve in the truck.
Wow, rude. I would like to point out that I'm the only person who did my part of the prep for this without
You did great.
any problems.
Absolutely.
Also, no, we can't leave Maeve in the truck because she's the one
Why?
who's going to need to disconnect this thing from whatever it's
Son of a
connected
bitch,
to
you're
and
right.
load it.
I
No.
was thinking more along the lines of we need a getaway driver, and you're the one who looks least like station security, Maeve. Not that I don't want you participating in the plan. You just don't tend to look very intimidating holding a gun. I don't like that was the thought.
She scares the shit out of me whenever she's holding a gun. I know that.
Well, it's terrifying, but regardless.
Can I use
All
this
right,
time
how about-
in the
Total agent
repairing
chaos.
my tactical?
Well, how about this as an idea then? Maeve and Karis can wear the jumpsuits to look like they're part of some kind of tech crew, and then Jaxper and I can look like security for said tech crew, and we could say that, I don't know, we have to get on their ship to discombobulate the...
contraband, bomb threat, gotta search all the ships. All right.
Oh, yeah.
From there, we've got to neutralize the crew, take this thing off.
When you say neutralize the crew, are we
I
being
mean, remove them as threats by whatever means possible. Ideally, that would mean locking them up somewhere, knocking them out, making it so that they're not aware of our comings and goings. It can also
Breaking
mean
the
killing the
communicator.
dicks off of them if we gotta kill the dicks off of them.
That's a weird way to phrase that. Is that a cartoon thing? I don't understand.
I don't know, man. It's a thing Greg used to say. I'm basing Jaxper heavily off of Greg.
Wow, that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we don't have to kill the dicks off of too many people.
I would be
prefer
ideal.
it to be no people.
Yeah, ideally,
I can't really promise that, though.
Look, it's definitely not the first plan. Every person you kill brings 5 more people after them, being like, "What the fuck?" So we don't want to do that. But
Also, guns make a lot of noise. They tend to set off security sensors.
Security sensors, it's a problem.
Yeah.
So we take them off the board by whatever means necessary.
That sounds more
And then we
ominous,
say,
not less.
we don't know what the fuck this thing is. We got to get it back. We give them a phony receipt and we take it off their ship. And if they don't argue with us, everything's fine.
Maeve, you hear the echo of Haywood's voice in your head just saying, how much do you really know about them boys?
Listen, we don't want to hurt anybody.
And then again, there's that parting, it never gets any easier.
Jaxper did tell you he was a weapon.
I know.
We did.
Can't say he was not honest.
It's true.
Just gotta focus until I can find grace. Just gotta
serenity
focus
now.
find grace.
Serenity. Well, we're open to alternative suggestions, Maeve. If you have a non-violent method of disabling the entire crew of a Crucible vessel that is perhaps more clever than killing their dicks off, then that would be
you're from the crime family. You tell us what's the Delaney method?
The Delaney's are not a crime family. They
Delaney's are absolutely a fucking crime family. Are you kidding?
They don't
procurement.
Casa Nostra. They are not a gang. There's 3 of them, for God's sakes.
The scion of a crime family?
Maeve, do you want to roll share expertise? Do you want to roll plus calculating?
Let's do that.
Maeve knows how to rob ships. Been robbing ships since she was 3.
They're a family and they do crime.
They do
They're
crime.
A crime
That's
family.
not what crime family means, Shakespeare.
Well, shit.
Okay.
That particular phrase is generally reserved for those as part of a criminal organization.
So
while Ellis explained all of the Godfather theory,
while Ellis walks Jasper through Goodfellas, who has
been running around for 30 years and has never managed to see the Godfather.
Hey, that's a historical document at this point.
Yeah, those are rare cuts.
As far as we know,
find.
it's nonfiction.
Yeah.
True.
So Maeve, you remember working on the Nephilim with your dad when you were like when it came time to like service the oxygen like recirculator, like the ventilation system for the ship. And you remember him like talking to you and saying like, in this right here, this is the lifeblood of the ship. You mess with this, you do anything to this, they're out of luck. We when your mom and I used to, like board ships, it was one of the easiest methods, especially if they were already docked. You toss a little gas in their ventilation system, it starts circulating throughout the place. Before they even know it, they're unconscious. They don't realize what happens. You're gone by the time they wake up. And you remember like your mom from the door being like, what are you telling her? And he's like, oh, nothing, nothing.
Man, if only Maeve knew where to get hold of some gas that would knock people out.
Well,
yeah.
I wonder.
I'll interrupt the discussion of the Delaney crime family situation.
And so that's about when you're asking, am I a clown? Am I funny to you? And then you beat the guy's head in with a chair because you don't understand. Like that's the and so he's a maid.
Less beating. How about we just pipe something through the system to like knock everybody out?
Well, like Sinatra?
You get everybody in one go. We're the only ones prepared with, gas masks. And it's like the super non-violent option, which hopefully leads as few witnesses of what we look like as well, because we don't have to come face to face with them to knock them out.
Beautiful.
That's smart.
Neutralize.
Do we know a neurolytic?
Hey.
Yeah, no, that's a great plan. Do we know someone who makes nerve gas?
I mean, I guess.
Can you make that?
Oh, no. We don't want nerve gas. We probably just want to like turn their oxygen way down or like pipe in like something relatively inert. You do not God, don't make me live through getting nerve gassed again. That fucking sucked.
That's like 8 sentences in one right there. But anyway, ignoring that.
The more I know about you, Jaxper, the more concerning it is. But we're a little short on time to get into all of that.
Yeah.
So
it's funny enough that like Ellis might actually have experience with this too, being someone who invaded a bunch of ships at any given time. But yeah, do we have an idea of what kind of gas we want to pump into this ship that's not going to kill them? Because I do want to point out, Jax, that if you replace someone's oxygen supply with inert gas, they do die. They fall asleep first, but then they die.
Yeah. You could probably pump in nitrogen. Just fuck up the mix. Put in a higher percentage of nitrogen in the air. lower the oxygen, pump up the nitrogen. They'll get really goofy, act like they're drunk for a while, and then they'll go unconscious.
Yeah,
And
honestly, I might be able to just tweak it since the system already has the various things that it like recirculates. Maybe we can just use the ship's systems and like mess with the settings to screw it up that way. As long as we have our own oxygen tanks, we should make it work.
I also do want to point out that doing that does carry the potential to harm the the people. We could poison them to death. I just want to throw that out there. Like,
scuba divers on Earth get nitrogen narcosis all the time, and they're usually fine.
Sure,
it sounds like the sticking point that you're coming up with here is like, this is a good plan, but none of us have the expertise to know what we're doing without potentially really fucking someone up.
Yeah.
Yeah, bears can do this, killing everybody.
Of like understanding.
Hey, actually, the mix of gases for this, you can Google that like right now. Like, yes. I'm suggesting, like, you could Google this literally right now. I'm sure they can find this information out. Like, that's
okay.
Wait.
That's not the issue. What I'm saying is that there's a character here that this is their whole thing, and we should try to involve them.
Well,
yeah, we're opening, like, talking about this. So, like,
should probably speak up or maybe integrate with their nano bro.
Integration is key when planning heists.
Integration is key to mission success.
What? Hold on. There's a lockdown because there's been a threat on the premises, right? Like, why can't we just tell them that they need to evacuate this bay?
I don't know that they're going to leave their ship.
Yeah, we need to make sure that the ship is fully clear and they're not leaving anybody behind to guard their thing.
I imagine it's going to be kind of noticeable if we start dragging this thing off the ship.
Unless there's literally a threat to the ship, I'm pretty sure no one's going to want to leave the ship.
But unless we've got another way to make poison, to make some kind of thing to introduce, then our best bet is to just jank the life support.
Or something that seems like poison, because that's an alternative, is that we could just turn off the life support system. Everyone's going to leave the ship if there ain't no oxygen. Again, doesn't get over the problem of us getting past.
I just need you guys to give me like 15-minute head start.
What if you got what? What are you gonna do, Karis?
I get us in. Just stop asking so many questions. Just give me 15 minutes.
Why would I not ask questions? This is so vague and alarming.
He's got it.
X, come with me.
What is this? Are you also a weapon of frightening proportions and origin?
Integration is key.
No.
How many times have you been nerve gassed, Karis? Shit.
0. I just just give me 15 minutes. Jaxper, let's go.
All right, everyone take a cool 15, I guess.
Karis just really needs everyone to stop yelling at him.
I can't think when you're all stressing me out like this. This is why I'm in the cockpit all the time.
Well done.
Call back to the earlier days of Nephilim.
You gotta fit it into each session.
We have a cockport like GIF we can put up.
Absolutely not. I refuse.
We should have that.
That would require me to acknowledge it.
We'll just go behind your back and get Andy to add it to the channel.
You think with the full understanding that Andy might be watching this, you think Andy knows how to add GIFs to this?
Yeah, fair.
I love you, Andy, if you're watching. Anyway.
This is what's going to inspire him to learn.
Yeah. I'm okay with that.
Spite is a hell of a motivator.
I'm okay with that.
Spite. I will add the cockport out of spite.
So anyway, yeah, you all have the revenge gift was a good idea also. But yeah, So where Karis, where are you taking Jaxper and Maeve and Ellis? Are you cool with them just disappearing?
I would ask that everybody remains in Bay 2 while Jaxper and I make our way to the bay with the ship.
Bay 7.
Bay 7.
Bay 7. And that is
So
where
I assume, since it sounds like we're doing this now, we would have taken the time to go back and got the extra transport that Maeve arranged, and we've got that ready and waiting.
As far as I'm concerned, you're still talking about plans.
It sounds like we're moving past plans right now.
I don't know. I mean, you guys can move on this as quickly as you want. But the question is like, are you? It sounds like the question is, are you moving ahead with the gas and the ventilation system plan? Where are you getting the gas and the ventilation from? Obviously, it sounds like Karis is going to do that, but I just want to verify that as the person running the game. And then where are your respective roles? Because if Jaxper is going to be with Karis, that kind of puts the kibosh on the whole, like, Ellis and Jaxper are security, Maeve and Karis are personnel plan.
Yeah, because we might have to split that up in a different way then.
Which is fine. But just something
the two of you could be security and the two of us can be mechanics. That's fine too.
Mm-hmm.
Fine, we just need to go back and get our truck.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. So we could also say that we were having all of this conversation as we were going to get swap out the trucks just to save story time. Of just in theory, we're discussing all this while we're on our way to get the show up. Haywood's just judging during some of the more choice things to overhear as we're
shaking his head. Just
exactly.
Why are you talking this over so broadly? What the hell?
Not
just making pointed looks at Maeve,
poor Ellis.
All right.
Cool. So it sounds like you've got a plan.
I don't know what plan we're going with, to be honest. We've had a lot of things get thrown up against the wall.
I'm very confused.
We're totally set up. The plan is ready.
So it sounds like what we're going to do is we're going to get into the docks on our big truck as maintenance personnel. Maintenance/security personnel truck. We are truck and IDs. We are then going to gain access to their ship by saying that we need to do a routine sweep to check for contraband. While we're on their ship, we're going to pump in gas to knock everybody out. And then we're going to steal their stuff and drive away.
5-point plan. Nothing can go wrong.
Feeling much better.
I counted 5. That they're probably.
I'm sure there will be point 1A, point 1B, point 1C.
No plan survives contact with the enemy, and there's a lot of enemies to contact here.
Probably true.
Okay. I also say that I took this time to repair my tactical cloak.
Yes, yeah. Anything that was discharged during any of your scenes, feel free to refresh.
Oh, wait, I leveled up too, and I never.
Oh, that's true. You got to pick your thing. But while you're working on that, while you're working on that, remember you don't have to pick from the. You have to pick from just the infiltrator list. You can pick from other playbooks if you want to get a move. You could also just raise a stat up by 1 if you want.
I will raise volatile because apparently I'm terrible at that.
Raise volatile? That's a good plan. So you can only do that one time. There should be a box to check off next to volatile, just to indicate that you've already raised that one and you cannot raise it a second time. But yeah, otherwise...
I think I made them... Yes.
I don't have them open. But yeah, there's a tiny little box. You just tick that box, and then you know that you already raised that one. Okay, cool. So yeah, I mean, it sounds good. Are you pretty much moving on this right away, or are you waiting a little while?
I mean,
I think we go soon.
Yeah, we should probably just do it.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know how long.
Pretty soon.
Yeah.
You don't know how long the lockdown that Karis created is going to last.
Right.
I think we're just going to move on it.
Plus,
The strike is now.
the ship.
That is true. All right, cool. So you are all suited up, ready to go in, ready to follow through on your plan. I think I'm going to make an executive decision and say that we pick up with that next time in the hope that connection issues will be better. Because I would feel very bad if Jen can't do any of this.
Can't do the plan.
Yeah. So we'll figure that out. Hopefully we'll have more stable connections. Hopefully we'll have a different method for having our closed captions again. And may we never speak of the terrible alphabet company ever again.
They're definitely not evil.
Definitely not evil, no.
We can't say that they are when too many of us own certain types of phones.
Yeah, I'm definitely...
Right.
Don't worry.
It will turn against you.
It's true. That's probably what happened. That's probably what happened to Ash.
It's true.
I'm definitely not exactly. I'm definitely not rebranding the worst mega corporation in this universe to be a thinly veiled people equivalent. But anyway. But anyway, all right. Cool. So also I did receive verification that we have hit we actually have 101 followers now.
Ooh.
Somebody else followed 8 minutes ago, so thank you very much for doing that, and thank you very much to the person who pushed us up to 100. We are in triple digits. It's very exciting. We are going to call it there for today. If you like what you have seen today, feel free to drop us a follow. Feel free to follow us on Twitter or join the Discord community where you can hang out with us there. Or and you'll also get updates about scheduling stuff and when we're going live. We stream every Sunday with alternating campaigns. Next Sunday is going to be our Call of Cthulhu campaign, Two-Headed Serpent. And then after that, it'll be Nephilim again, and so on and so forth. But also, we sometimes stream during the week with like video games or other things, or probably due for like a 1 or 2 shot, to be honest. It's been a minute. Yeah, everything on this channel benefits a charitable cause or mutual aid fund. We ask that instead of donating to us, you contribute to those causes instead. But for today, we just want to thank you if you hung out with us, if you watched, if you chatted, if you came back from the last time you watched us, if you followed, thank you so much. And hopefully we will see you next time. Yeah, that's it from us. Have a good one. Bye.
Have a good one, y'all.
Bye.